Hey, it's a Humble Collector here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the haul from this year's 2021 Max Show. Had a great time, had two of my friends go out there with me, and yeah, so before we get started, there's a few things I want to address about the thumbnail. The two rifles in the thumbnail were purchased by my two friends. I didn't remember there being a lot of guns at Max back in 2019, so I didn't bring enough cash to buy the military I wanted to buy and guns, so they ended up just getting guns, and I ended up just getting military, so it kind of worked out a little bit. But for those who were curious, the one rifle is a model 1917 Eddystone, beautiful condition. I think it's got a new barrel, my friend said, but otherwise it's a really, really cool gun. And then my other friend got a VZ-24 with, I think, 1925 manufacturer, and that one's all numbers matching except the stock, so really, really cool rifle. I'm definitely going to remember this for next year and bring more money, so keep aware of that. Though I did technically get a bayonet for a rifle I haven't shown you guys, so I'll show that first. So this is a model 1895 Mannlicher bayonet. Pretty cool. The reason I picked this up is I actually bought a drill rifle a couple months ago that I never showed you guys. I think the unboxing just didn't turn out right. But here it is. Unfortunately, the zoom out on the camera isn't great, but yeah, model 1895 Mannlicher. That's a pile of stuff we're going to look at in a minute. But yeah, so this is a drill rifle. It doesn't fire. It's got the chamber drilled out here, and then if I take the safety off, the bolt face has been ground down and welded as well, so there's no firing pin. Also, the extractor is broken. These are pretty brittle, so you know, it is what it is. But really cool, this is actually a Bulgarian contract Mannlicher, and Steyr 1903, so first year of the Bulgarian contract. Pretty cool. But yeah, so I've had this sitting around my collection room for a hot minute here, and when I saw that there was a model 1895 Mannlicher bayonet that was actually a pretty decent price, I had to pick it up. So, pretty cool. Now the other topic that I wanted to address, there's a large box in the thumbnail, which I have come to affectionately call the box. Very creative. And we're not going to see it in all its glory today. I'm going to put a picture up on screen now. And this box piece of trench art, I thought, or a piece of folk art, really cool. Has two like rotating towers that have German soldiers on the bottom. It looks like it was mechanical at one point. I thought maybe it was like a interwar like piece, almost like folk art, though I guess I would still call it trench art. That basically was like in commemoration of like some of his comrades from the Great War, or, maybe for like a veterans hall or something. But I'm going to switch over to a video I filmed earlier of me with the disassembled box, so you can kind of see that it's turned out very different than I anticipated. Okay, yeah, so I got a little impatient last night. Well, I shouldn't say impatient. I got excited, and I wanted to start working on it, and couldn't sleep. So I started taking it apart. I was taking pictures the whole way, so I'll put some of those on screen as necessary. But it's actually rather simple and not at all what I thought it was. Now, the seller had said they thought it was electrified at one point, which it was not. I can show you here, if I set down my light, that it was actually mechanical, like I thought it was. However, it's mechanical, and it has this little like toy gearbox here, which is interesting. And it looks like the shaft, like the lever that was originally through that hole, just sheared off. I think this is broken. As you can see, these tin soldiers here, which I thought were probably like World War I or just barely post-war, I think are actually from like the 40s or 50s. They might be older, but I know that these figures were produced for like a really long time, which is kind of interesting and odd. Now, one of the other kind of weird things, if we move over here, so it looks like this part of the display, this bottom part that was covering up the boards there, is like from a box of toy soldiers, I think, or maybe some kind of advertisement. But what's weird is the advertisement has this writing down here in the corner, which says, "A fight in the Argonne Forest," but it's in Hungarian and not German. And this says something about the Ministry of the Interior, also in Hungarian. Now that's weird enough, because again, I thought this was like some kind of like German, like interwar, like folk art or something. So imagine my surprise when I removed this thing. Now, this is actually gorgeous. Whoever built this did a really cool job with it. It's a wreath. It has what looks like a replica of a Star of the Grand Cross, the Iron Cross, World War One. You know, obviously we've got the oak leaves here, the acorns, is a very German motif. Now, imagine my surprise. I can pull this back off here. I should remove this before the video, that's fine. There we go. So, now, this looks like, I'm trying to figure out what was used to make this, because I couldn't tell if this was like from some kind of modified hat badge, or if this was from like a different star-shaped metal. So any information on that would be super appreciated. Let me see if I can get a good shot of it here. Yeah, so you can see that. It looks like there was like, it looks like the Iron Cross was added, is what I'm trying to get at. Because it looks like there's what's left of like a round flat area that would have been something else on. And then the Iron Cross itself really isn't centered, actually. Now, whoever did it actually did a pretty good job attaching it, but it's just very strange to me. And yeah, the back here is a screw back. It looks like it's a really rough casting, which I don't think it's actually a metal, maybe some kind of hat badge. So yeah, anybody who knows what this is or what this could have actually been from, let me know. But also, you notice it hangs in the back of the box like this, right? And the W is upside down, which is odd to me. Because, you know, a World War I Iron Cross would be like that. Strange. But what was really strange, really surprising, was when I took that off, you have this little lion hidden under it. If I flip that over here, you can see that. It's a lion with a sword and a bunch of arrows. Now, from what I was able to gather, I believe that this lion is from an NSB visor cap. The NSB being the Dutch Nazi Party during World War II. Now, so what we have here is we have a box celebrating or commemorating German soldiers during World War I, with Hungarian-made parts, apparently, or Hungarian components, because it's written in Hungarian, and a secret Dutch Nazi visor cap pin. Now, maybe it's... This was originally thought up by my sleep-addled brain at 2 a.m., but I'm wondering, was the soldier who built this box not for World War I, but for World War II? Now, of course, as we know, there were many Dutch... Well, I don't know if I'd say many, but there were Dutch volunteers in the Waffen-SS. And I checked, and there were some Dutch members of the Waffen-SS who served in Hungary during World War II. Now, maybe this is a bit of a stretch. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. But what if, post-war, either they slipped away in the chaos of the collapse of the Eastern Front, or, you know, after they were released from POW camp, whatever, they decided that because they were in, you know, the Nazi Party in, you know, Holland, or the Netherlands, and, you know, that's not really popular post-war, that rather than go back home where they're probably going to be, you know, ostracized and, you know, really not have a great life, that since they learned some Hungarian during the war, they're going to settle in Hungary. Now, why would you build this? And by the way, this case, I think, is like just an old spice cabinet, maybe a clock. It used to have a lock on it, and there's like grooves here, maybe from the clock shelves, I don't know. Now, however, you know, this person's obviously still an ardent supporter of National Socialism. Or, you know, fascism. And what they do is they realize that they want to hide this badge. You know, obviously, because this outs them as being a Nazi. And they decide, well, what if I build this thing commemorating German soldiers from World War I? You know, like a little hobby model thing, you know, just something to do, pass the time. But then secretly make it honoring, you know, basically, instead of having World War II German soldiers, they'll use World War I German soldiers. It's kind of a weird theory. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. But like I said, this is just a bizarre thing. There's no reason to have that hidden back there unless you did it on purpose. Like, there's no reason you couldn't find some other way to rig this up. But that would also explain why the Iron Cross was, you know, upside down, because they'd probably never seen a World War I Iron Cross before, but they knew it didn't have the swastika on it. They'd probably heard from somebody or maybe read somewhere that had the W in the middle. But, you know, or they just accidentally fixed it upside down. That's also a possibility. But yeah, really weird piece. It's kind of awesome. Even if it is, like, post-World War II. which I normally don't go for. Just the fact that it's got that emblem there, like, that adds a whole layer to this story that we're never probably going to know. Unfortunately, there's no name anywhere on it. There's no date anywhere on it that I could find. So that brings me to what I'm going to do with it. Now, this gearbox, I'm pretty sure, is shot. I think that spring or something's gone. So I'm going to take that apart, and I'm going to see if I can get it so it'll just work rotating. You know, not like you wind it up and let it go, but just you can rotate it. So that'd be cool. But then also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some non-permanent, easily reversible modifications to it. And what I mean by that is I'm probably going to electrify that, so you can just, like, maybe flip a switch that'll put the hole here, and then it'll keep rotating for as long as it's on. I also thought it'd be interesting to get some of those, like, removable cabinet lights and put them up here. And maybe have, like, a flashing, like, red light effect, like Shellfire or something. And then maybe also put a small speaker or something in it that's not affixed to the box. You can remove it whenever. To add maybe some ambient battle sounds or something like that. I think it would look really neat, and it would add a lot to the piece without, changing anything. I'd be curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are on that, though. I understand it's modifying what is a work of art, kind of. But I just think it would look a lot... It would look cool for display, and none of what I would be doing would be permanent damage. So I'd be curious what you guys think of that. But anyway, back to the rest of the haul. Alright, so now we're back from looking at that. I'll definitely keep you guys posted as I work on that. And if you have any info on any of that, or on my theory there, let me know. Anyway, really excited about that. Hoping to do more with it. So moving on, first photo I want to show you guys is this excellent yard long featuring a whole bunch of Renault tanks. We have 1, 2, a truck, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, I did a video on the history of the tank corridor in World War I a while back, posted up here, link somewhere, and if I remember correctly, a platoon was supposed to be 5 tanks. I think it was supposed to be, or light tank platoon that would use the Renaults. It was supposed to have 6-pounder, 2 tanks with 3-pounders, and then 2 tanks with machine guns. So we have 7 tanks here, so I don't know if this is like one platoon, another one coming up behind. This almost looks like a training camp somewhere. So I'm wondering if this is from like the tank training school in France itself. That's why there's more than just a platoon's worth of tanks. But yeah, really cool. You don't see this very often. The seller also had another yard long with some British land ships, but unfortunately it was an expensive show, and so I ended up just buying this one. But it's still pretty cool. So moving on, one of my favorite photo dealers was actually there at the show again. So I got some really sick photos. I got a T-35 here, which is pretty sweet. Also got this photo of what appears to be a reconnaissance group, taking a break, and thank you, Ice Machine, very cool. Lost my train of thought. Recon group here that's kind of, bathing in a river. I thought that was kind of like a neat photo. We also have this killer photo of a Stug, whatever, with a unit marking there that appears to be a skull and the number 23, which is really cool. Probably not going to show you guys all these photos. Well, maybe I will. Some French propelled artillery there, which is pretty neat. Got knocked out KV-1, and I can't make out the other 2 words there, but by Battalion 29, which is pretty sweet. Got this guy on a armored car. Looks like he's, maybe talking to these guys about what's up ahead. Pretty cool with all the field gear and the weapons and everything. We also got another, I love my KV tanks. We got another KV-2 knocked out here. Come on, focus, there you go. Being inspected by some German soldiers. We also have this column of cars heading toward some kind of smoke cloud up in front. It looks like they're waiting for maybe orders to advance. Got a nice little self-propelled gun there. Not sure what model that one is, though. This is kind of a neat photo. These guys in like an anti-tank ditch, maybe, or something. There's something here about a Panzer something, October 6th. Haven't finished translating it yet. Yeah, pretty neat photo. We have this guy who's wearing a Zeltbahn and a bunch of grenades strapped to him. Nice combat photo, not named, unfortunately. Got these guys in a entrenched position using a ZB-30, I believe that is. ZB-30 light machine gun. Which is pretty cool. Got a burning house somewhere, probably on the Eastern Front. Not captioned. Got more German soldiers advancing towards smoke up on the front line. More German soldiers hanging out in the trench with grenades here. It's pretty cool. We have a mortar crew in Ostiglia, Italy. This one's captioned. April 24th, 1945. 5th Army, Ostiglia area, Italy. Mortar crew of Company H, 2nd Battalion, 351st Infantry Regiment of the 88th Division joins the attack for the crossing of the Po River. Photo by Schmidt, 196 Signal Photo Company. That's pretty cool. You got also the ambulance in the background, which is kind of neat. So moving on, the last set of items we're going to look at here are death cards. Not as many as I remember there being back in 2019, and prices were higher, unfortunately. But I did get some nicer cards. I did overpay for a lot of these, unfortunately. First one here, Josef Schuster, who is an Oberjäger and Company Truppführer in a Gebersjäger regiment. Pretty neat. Veteran of campaigns in France and Russia, and bearer of the Auszeichnungen. I can't remember what the Auszeichnungen is, but bearer of that award. You have Aloy Meyer here, double Iron Crosses, which is kind of interesting, who was an Unterofficer in a Gebersjäger regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross 2nd class, I think the War Merit Cross and the Eastern Front Medal. Killed December 21st, 1943. Joseph here was killed October 28th, 1944. We have this World War I card. It's the only World War I card I found, actually, for Ludwig Dulkofer, who was a soldier in an infantry regiment who died of typhus in March of 1917. Lovely back panels, though. Look at those. Really cool. I also got some loose cards here that aren't in the binder. We'll finish the rest of the ones that are in the binders here first. We have George Ethel, Gefreiter in a Grenadier Regiment, killed December 27th, 1942. We also have another Gebersjäger, Josef Haben, Obergefreiter in a Gebersjäger Regiment, killed November 2nd, 1941. You can see the nice Edelweiss in the photo there. We have a card for Franz Mortel, lieutenant in a Panzer Aufklärungsabteilung, fell on February 26th, 1945. So late war death card there for him. Some of the loose cards I got here. Let's see here. We got Hermann Kellberger, who was a Gefreiter in a medic battalion, Sanitäter, which is pretty cool. I don't think I have any medics in my collection, so I thought that was kind of neat. Then we got another one of these large story cards, we as I call them. I'm not sure there's an official name in the community, I just don't know. But huge wall of text here about Willy Schmidt, who was a Gefreiter in an infantry regiment who had the wound badge and the general assault badge. And also, I just noticed his collar tabs there. I didn't see this before, 473. So 473rd Infantry Regiment, I guess. Probably. I think that's how that works. But yeah, pretty cool. Huge, like I said, wall of text. So basically, it looks like... What, he died January of 1943, maybe? Yeah, looking forward to translating that one. Those always have really good info. The next two cards I've heard of, but I've never actually seen, and these are the little tiny death cards. These are, for comparison to a normal size here, they're very small. I'm not sure if this was like a paper shortage thing, or if this was like a personal choice or printer's choice, but little tiny death card. Same amount of info that you find on a normal one. This is for Matthias Kaltenecker, who was a Gefreiter in a Grenadier Regiment, bearer of the wound badge, and was killed November 12th, 1944 in the East. And the other small one I have here, if I can open it up. Franz Rausch fell on 11th September 1944 in the heavy fighting in the East. Which is pretty interesting. And the last death card, I saved the best, I guess, or the most valuable probably for last. Probably not the most, well, I think it's pretty interesting too. So this is my first captain, by the way. This is Captain Albin Prokesh, who was captain of Grenadier Regiment, won the Iron Cross Second Class, the War Merit Cross Second Class, the Infantry Assault Badge in Silver, Gold and Bravery Medal, Large Silver, Small Silver, and Bronze Bravery Medals, Wound Badge in Silver, and many other domestic and foreign awards. Fought in the campaigns in Poland, the West, and the East as the leader of his company. Died for the fatherland in the area of southeast of Polotsk, Russia, on June 29th, 1944, at the age of 46. And just look at the medal bar on this guy. I'm going to have to get this scan in and like really look at these to see if I can identify any of these medals. But super highly decorated. I don't have any captains in my collection that I'm aware of, so that's also a pretty cool card there. Cost me the most out of all the cards I bought as well. But yeah, overall, Max was awesome. Gonna go back next year and probably bring twice as much money because I spent all of my money. And yeah, so thank you all for watching. We got death cards, photos, this lovely panorama here, this bayonet, and the box, which again I will be posting updates of. So yeah, thank you all for watching the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. If anybody else was at Max and you want to talk about what you got too, I love hearing what other stuff people found at Max. There's a lot of good stuff this year. Yeah, happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.